Hey y'all, come make a dress with me. So I saw this fabric and I thought they would be super cute for a pair of pants. And then I saw this dress and I fell in love and I was like, I have to make it in this pattern. So I believe the original creator of the dress makes and sells a pattern. I'm not much of a pattern user. I do, however, have a turtleneck that I like the fit of and a dress that fits me very well. So what you see me doing here is I have about 2 yards of fabric folded and I'm lining up the turtleneck folded in half on that fold because I'm gonna trace the top as you saw me do there. And then I'm gonna line up the dress with the turtleneck in order to create the bottom half of the dress. So now you're just seeing me kind of shift it around on the fabric to make sure that it's lined up. I want to leave myself about 1 inch of seam allowance all the way around, as well as really make sure that I have the armholes of the bodice of the dress lined up with the armholes of the top part of the dress. And then I'm cutting it out. And now you have your front piece of the dress cut out. So what we're gonna do is take a single layer of the fabric, it's no longer in a fold, and we're gonna lay the front half of the dress directly onto here. It doesn't matter if you do it right sides together or wrong sides together. And you're just gonna cut it out with no additional seam allowance and skipping the neck hole. You're just gonna go straight across once you get to the shoulders. So now that we have both pieces cut out, we're gonna take our clips, mine is in this cute little tin, and I'm going to take the right side of the dress, the front piece, and the right side of the back piece of the dress, and we're gonna lay them onto each other. So the right side of the front and the right side of the back are touching. We're gonna line up our armholes and line up the shoulders and pin at the shoulders, and we are just gonna sew straight across at the shoulders. So here I am sewing this with my serger. I'm using a Brotherlock 1034D. If you don't have a serger, you could always use a straight stitch and then come behind it with a zigzag stitch, or just use a zigzag stitch. Also, you'll notice that I'm doing one shoulder, skipping the neck hole, and then doing the other shoulder. I realized after this I didn't have to do that, so if you're following along, just sew all the way from one shoulder to the next. So I know I said I did not use patterns, and truly I don't. However, I do have a McCall pattern dress that I just have not used, and that dress just happened to have short sleeves. And I did not want to cut a sleeve off of a shirt because I didn't have any shirts that I didn't want to eventually wear again. So as you can tell here, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even cut this out to size. I literally cut the sleeve pattern off of the dress pattern, and I'm just cutting out that general shape. Later off camera, I will have to go back in and make it smaller. But if you look at the pattern, there are specific lines on there with different sizes. So if you decide to make something with sleeves, I would recommend following the lines based on what your size is. I just went ahead and cut the whole thing out as one general shape and then molded it to what's going to fit me later. I'm folding it in half like this to cut it and make sure it's symmetrical on both sides. And then I'm going to cut this exact shape out again on the remainder of the fabric for my second sleeve. Okay, so if you haven't done a sleeve before, here's where things get a little bit tricky. But you want to take the right side of the back of the dress and the right side of one part of the sleeve, and we're going to pin those together. And then you're going to make your way around that armhole, eventually pinning the right side of the other half of the sleeve to the right side of the front part of your dress. After sewing another dress that has sleeves in it, I found it easiest to fold your sleeve in half, find the center point, and attach the stitch we just made to the shoulders to the center point of that sleeve, and then attach the remaining sides. Always right sides together, but the more you do it, the easier it'll be and the more you'll figure it out. So here I'm just switching out my thread to this like cream color that I think matches the dress better. And I'm actually at my sewing machine this time. So the sleeves to me are a bit more complicated to sew, and a straight stitch is so much easier to seam rip than a serged overlock stitch. So I'm going to be sewing the sleeve on with my Brother sewing machine. And this is exactly what I meant. So it was hard to tell because of the angle in which I was recording, but I sewed the sleeve in a complete circle, which one should do. However, it kind of closed off some of the room behind the arm. So as you can see here, I opened up a space in the front of the sleeve and I opened up a pretty big space in the back, and I'm gonna sew a straight line down instead of around in a circle to leave all that space open, and then I'm just gonna go down the entirety of the dress. Okay, so here I'm just showing you what the dress looks like right sides out with our sleeves sewn on and the sides sewn together. And if you're thinking that neck hole looks way too small to get a human head through it, you'd be correct. I'm actually going to find the center and cut a line straight down the back because we're gonna add a zipper. So as you can see here, I went ahead and cut that line and I just stopped wherever I wanted the zipper to end. This is a 14-inch non-invisible zipper, and it actually ended up being too short to go all the way up the neck since this is going to be a turtleneck dress. So later I will show you how I improvised when I realized it was too short. But right now I'm just pinning it together as close to the teeth as I can. So after pinning one side of the zipper, I realized I was pinning it to a raw edge and I didn't like that look. So I found this rolled hem foot that I had never used, and I'm just showing you, I'm taking my regular foot off and placing this one on, and I'm going to hem both sides before we sew the zipper on. So if you've never used a rolled hem foot like I had, I found it a little bit tricky, but the easiest way was to start off by rolling your fabric in twice, doing a straight stitch, and then using the remainder of the fabric to feed into the foot. So that's kind of what you see me doing with both hands. And the foot is actually really good. It will roll it itself. It's just a very thin hem, which worked perfectly for the zipper edge. So this next foot I'm putting on is actually a zipper foot, and it came with my brother's sewing machine, which is awesome. It has openings on both sides, depending on what side of the zipper you're doing. That way you can sew as close to the teeth as possible. And guys, once you see the finished part of this, it looks like an invisible zipper, even though it was a regular one, because I was able to get so close to those teeth. So now that we're getting towards the bottom, what I found easiest so that you don't run into the zipper handle is to lower your needle, raise your presser foot, and then zip the zipper up, lower your presser foot back, and then you're able to sew completely past the handle so you don't run into any issues. And guys, just look how clean that looks. Again, this is a regular zipper, so you can see how thick the other side is, but because I was able to get so close, it looks so seamless. And here I am showing you with both sides done. Okay, so here I figured is a good point to try the dress on. I actually really like it. I just need to take the sides in to be a bit more flattering. So here you see me pinning the sides. And then I was thinking about taking some length off as well. I end up taking too much off, so towards the end of the video, you'll see I add it back. But after this, you just need to add the collar on and hem everything, and we're pretty much done. This is the general shape it's gonna be. I did a mock-up of the collar, so I just kind of hot dog styled some fabric, and then I'm placing it on my neck to make sure this is kind of what it's gonna look like. And I'm starting to think it's real cute. So here we are at my serger, creating the collar or the turtleneck half that's gonna go around our neck. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the measurement because I really didn't measure. I just took a long piece of fabric, folded it hot dog style with right sides together, and now we're sewing one side. And then we're gonna use our loop turner and turn it inside out. To make the mock strings around your waist, we're gonna do the exact same thing, just a thinner piece of fabric and much longer if you can. So this isn't the best angle, I do apologize, but what I'm doing here is I'm sewing the right side bottom edge of the collar we just made to the right side top edge of the back of the dress, leaving some length on both sides. Since our zipper wasn't long enough to go all the way up the neck, I left some length on the side so we can just tie it behind our neck and then tuck those strings in. And you see here, once you flip it up, since you've sewn the bottom edge to the top edge, it now becomes a turtleneck collar. And now I'm back at my serger and we're just gonna sew a straight line down connecting the two. So what I'm showing you here is optional, so I actually did it off camera, but just for a cleaner edge, I went back and I sewed all of the pieces that we sewn together of the sleeve that we did on our regular sewing machine. I went back and I serged them. And now I'm just flipping everything right sides out so I can show you what it looks like with the sleeves on and the collar. So this is what I meant when I said I left some additional length on the collar piece that we made. Since the zipper starts beneath the neck, when we wear the dress, we'll just tie this part in a knot behind our neck and then tuck in the remainder like you'll see me do here. All right, we are in the final steps of this dress. I went ahead and hemmed the sleeves, and now I am hemming the bottom of the dress. I folded it in a finger's width about 2 times to get a nice clean edge, and that's it. The dress is gonna be done. And here she is. I went ahead and added about 2 inches back to the bottom of the dress because I felt like I took too much length off. I took the sides in to make it more flattering. Here's the back with that nice clean zipper. I think this is like my most successful zipper ever, so I'm really excited about it. So I love it. I think it came out super cute and flirty. Here are the ties. Like again, I just took a long piece of fabric, hot dog style, and tied it. So here's just a reminder of the inspiration pic. I think it came out really cute, especially with not having an actual pattern to follow. I love the way it turned out, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.